Hey guys, Photo Viper here again. Today I figure we'll switch it up and talk about a little bit of GI Joe paramedics, rescue teams. And first up, we'll go with OG Doc. Now my doc is not complete. He initially came with a helmet, a signal flare mortar thing, and a stretcher. It was just like this stretcher, but a different color. This is a modern one, but it's the same mold. And we'll get to that in a little bit. There's some cool stuff going on with that. But yeah, man, Doc. He was the chaplain's assistant, all that good stuff at Fort Wadsworth, at the pit. And he was the very first Doc. And I believe the first time he was around, he was a mail away, and they didn't know how well a non-combatant would do for army men. But apparently he did pretty well because everybody liked him. Uh, Old Hama wrote him pretty good in the comics, and he was written pretty well in the cartoons too. Although in the cartoons he was kind of I don't know, more sciencey kind of guy than a doctor. He was always building, I don't know, energy mirrors and other things like that, kind of weird stuff for just a field medic to do. But um, it's pretty cool though. His sculpting's amazing. He's got some red cross here, orange, but another one here. He's got his signature green shades. Um, a nice red belt going on there. This and pretty much all the GI Joe medics were pacifists. So this, I wouldn't say it would be a gun. I would say it would be a flare gun. And he's got some pill bottles over here, some kind of prescriptions. I don't know what he's got there. Some I don't know. Some good stuff to kill the pain anyway, probably. And of course, a little white shirt underneath, looking all fresh and clean. And yeah, man, amazing figure. Um, a lot of very underrated and often overlooked. Not a lot of people review him. Not a lot of people talk about him. A lot of collectors have him, but he just doesn't play a strong role in, you know, uh, playtime, I guess, for the most part. But I think he's great. I dig him. Uh, he's a cool figure, cool addition. And like I said in my Cobra Medics review, um, you can't have soldiers without medics. You got to have somebody to patch the guys up on the battlefield. So, you know, um, Doc, gotta love him. It's good stuff. And moving on, I can stand him up here. Moving on, we've got Lifeline and not Lifeline. We'll get to that in a second. So Lifeline was a successor to Doc, and he came out 84, 85 ish. Don't quote me on that. If you want exact dates, go check out a HCC review because he does them a lot more detailed than I do. He came out when the Tomahawk helicopter came out. He was lift tickets buddy, and they would fly around and rescue people. And honestly, in the in the comic, he was really cool. They had him doing judo and stuff and aikido, and he could really take care of himself, even though he was a pacifist. Um, he still didn't let nobody push him around. In the cartoon, he was a bit of a pussy. He wouldn't even touch a gun to save his life. Like to get pulled out of a pit of piranhas or anything. Ridiculous. Um, uh, Everybody made fun of him. When I was a kid, I made fun of him in the cartoons. Thought he was a joke. But the figure's good. He pops. His sculpting's really amazing. Got some silver going on, the red and white. Rescue. It's just, it looks good, man. He's a really good figure. Really amazing sculpt. Got the patented green glasses like Doc. And, yeah. And of course, a pacifist. But when he came out, they had him molded with a gun on his leg. Imagine that. Now, I like to consider this a tranquilizer dart gun or something like that, you know. And the knife, of course, you know, I guess in case he needs to do any field surgeries and he doesn't have his other gear. Um, of course, he's got a flashlight, empty holster, which is strange again. He did come with a like a flare gun accessory though. So I guess that you would imagine that would go in there. But yeah, so if you notice, I have two different lifelines, but one's not a lifeline. Reason being is there were two different lifelines released. This was the original. Imagine him with his head, of course. I used Downtown's head on here. I just swapped the head out because I didn't need two lifelines as characters, but I wanted both sculpts. So this was a commercial release, again, besides the head. And, you know, he came with all these other things sculpted onto him and stuff. And this is the Rice Krispies lifeline. And they had to deal with Kellogg's or whatever to you know, release a figure. If you sent in some box tops or whatnot, they'd send you a figure, but they didn't want to be associated with any kind of firearms or weapons or anything, so they retooled, used somebody else's legs on them, and yeah, got rid of the knives, the gun, and the flashlight. Also changed the tempo on these guys. If you notice, the Rice Krispies one is in a bigger font, goes a little bit longer down his leg, which is interesting because, I mean, they had to totally change that tempo. Probably cost them a bit of money to do that. Aside from that, they're pretty much identical. So, like I said, I took my original, which is worth, you know, slightly less than this guy. These aren't expensive figures, and I put a Downtown head on him because I'm not a fan of that Downtown figures paint job, and this head looks pretty good on Lifeline. So again, you know, all you collectors out there that are shy to customize, um, just a head swap does wonders. And so, you know, if you're afraid to paint them, don't want to change the value, you know, swap them out, have extra figures or whatever. Lifeline also came with this medical kit here, and this is really nice. It has the oxygen mask, straps onto a figure's head real nice, and if you snap these buttons open here, folds open, and we got a nice little oxygen tanks, and you know, portable life support. And something I've noticed recently, because Hasbro likes to have all these crazy little Easter eggs where one part of something goes with another part of something. Um, there was a lot of Easter eggs on the headquarters with different vehicles fitting in, locking down onto the thing there. This actually has an Easter egg as well. If you take Doc's stretcher and you have this opened up, you take the feet on the stretcher and you snap them onto the buckles of the med kit. You have a portable medical station, and you can just strap the guys down on there, put the mask on him, and he's ready for surgery. Pretty awesome. I didn't realize this until a month or two ago when I was setting up a photo shoot and a diorama on my tactical battle platform. I was like, hey, those are pretty close to lining up there. Coincidence? I don't think it was a coincidence. But yeah, some pretty cool stuff. Them engineers at Hasbro, they were always thinking, always coming up with new things to captivate us, and half the time they wouldn't tell us. We kind of had to figure it out on our own. So kudos to them for keeping these secrets for so many years. And yeah, man, it's always cool to figure something else out new. And fascinating. But yes, here's the G.I. Joe's medical crew. I am missing a few. I just didn't want to bring them out. But the later years aren't that much. We'll get to those later. But I hope you enjoyed the review. Hope you enjoyed the figures. I sure do. And yeah, have a great day. We'll see you next time.